2. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Reed. I am the editor-in-chief of the PW Perspective. You can find us at www.pwperspective.com. We are known as Virginia's only anti-racist publication. And tonight I have with me 3 incredible minded women who have put together a show that really reaches out to the community. And the show is now on everyone's lips. And so I'm so honored to have with me all the hosts of the show tonight. So for Chelsea, Monique, and Lindsey, thank you all very much for joining us. How's everyone doing tonight?
Thank you for having
Wow.
us.
Thank
Doing
you.
wonderful.
We're great.
Excited to join you tonight on your show.
Thank you. And, for those who may know, Monique, we go, how far we go back? What, 20, 25, 26 years?
Wow, John. Yeah, I was just telling the ladies. Yeah, we go back to high school. Well, a little bit after high school.
Yes.
So yeah,
yes.
over 20 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and just to see, what you've done, it's amazing. And so, and Cherie sends her best as well. So
thank you. And the feeling is mutual, John. Seeing you branch out, it's been great. Yeah.
Thank you. We just celebrated our first year on Sunday, so Friday got recognized by the Virginia Press Association. So we're official now, yay! So now
congratulations, that is awesome.
Recognize us. So it's been a road. Especially, I'm just glad I don't have to do politics for a while. I hope so. I can do some fun stuff now.
Yes, get a little break, right?
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so. But let's just jump right into it, ladies. And so, as we stated off-site, Chelsea, to start with you, and we'll just go around the horn to Monique and Lindsey, respectively. Talk a little bit about what was your inspiration behind OEL, and just what made you want to do this endeavor.
So just a little bit about OEL. Lindsey and I are sisters, and Mo is she is the best friend of our aunt. So Lindsey and I were sitting down having a conversation at my aunt's house, and she overheard, I guess, our conversation and felt that it was super great and suggested that we should think about getting a podcast. So me and Lindsey were down to, do the whole podcast thing. And then she said that Mo had always had an interest in doing, radio and broadcasting. And so she would be interested in doing it as well. So we met, and here we are.
Awesome. So Monique, so you were able to just hear saying that you jumped right into it. What was that like? And talk a bit about your background in radio and broadcasting.
Yeah, so my background is I've always had a love for radio broadcast, but I didn't pursue it, but I've always had a love for it. So a few years ago, I decided I'm gonna try to follow my passion. And so God put some amazing people in my path to help me get started. And then one day I was talking to my best friend, as Chelsea mentioned, is her aunt. And I was, she knew about what I was trying to do. And so she said, Lindsey and Chelsea, which is her nieces, want to do a podcast. And I was like, oh, really? And I was like, well, I wouldn't mind doing a podcast because that will help me branch me out into my passion that I'm trying to get into. And so I reached out to them to see if they were still interested. And they were like, yeah. And so we met and we clicked. So that's important. We clicked when we all met up. And then we just started having meetings, and we came up with the name On Everyone's Lips. And that was amazing how we even came up with
how we
that.
Clicked with that. Yeah.
Yes. It was just like, and it just like, once it came, we were like, that's it. And so OEL for sure.
It just felt right. Yeah.
It felt right. Yeah. So
right.
That's pretty much was the inspiration, and just wanting to, we started talking about what topics we want to do. And we all had similar views on topics. And so it just fell into place.
Oh, that's beautiful. And Lindsey, let me just ask you this. What's it like? Because I'm just working with your sister, because I know if I try to do anything with my brothers, and Monique knows my brothers, it doesn't last very long. So somewhere along the way, somebody's going to start colliding. So what's it like working with your sister on putting this together?
Oh, I love it. I think everybody has great communication. So I love working with my sister. I mean, I think, we all bring our certain individual personalities to it. And so where someone else may be weak at or have, are strong at, we pick up off each other's energy. So I love it. I mean, doing something with your family and someone that you connect with and known all your life, I think what's better than that?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like I said, when you all have that camaraderie, you can all work together. It just blends so beautifully. And I hear it on your shows. I've got a chance to listen to the first season and then a couple of episodes on the new season. And one of your recent episodes, you talked about being out, the new norm. And that's what we live in now in the pandemic. And Chelsea, I'll start with you, and then just go around the horn. What has life been like for each and every one of you since we've been dealing with the pandemic here last March?
I think we've had no choice but to adjust. So with that being said, we had to tap into our resources and, adjust as we knew how, the only way we knew how, and to move forward. So all three of us are working from home for the most part. So we have a lot of time on our hands to, figure out things to do with the podcast. So we've had time to play and, try to figure out how we're going to do the podcast 100% virtually without having to go in the studio to, do the whole social distancing thing. And we had to tap into using our first platform when we first started, which is Blog Talk Radio. So we're using Blog Talk Radio and Skype as one of our platforms. So I think we've adjusted pretty well so far.
And because Monique, I believe you were doing the recordings from your studio, correct?
Yes. I have a little studio in my home. And so season 1, we were all meeting here and doing it from the studio, which helped our audio because we wanted to sound, professional. So that really helped us.
Good quality.
But of course, with the pandemic, we had to make some moves and switch it up. And like Chelsea mentioned, we are back on our original platform, but we switched it up a little bit. We've included Skype, and Skype has helped our sound, which we feel like we sound a little bit better than our very first shows when we first started using Blog Talk. Skype has helped out in that aspect. And so, we're just really trying to do it virtually now, but this is not going to be forever. So we're just trying to get back into the swing of things because we did take a hiatus. We took a little bit of a longer hiatus than I think any of us really intended to, but with everything going on, just trying to figure out life. But now, like Chelsea mentioned, we're back in the flow of things and we're getting back out there doing some shows. So awesome. I'm excited about it.
Oh, that's great. So Lindsey, let me ask you this then. Like you said, you had to go on a hiatus due to the pandemic. So what was that like when you had tried to start up again? Is it challenging or was it easy? Is it the fact you couldn't meet in person? How was the adjustment from season 1 to season 2?
Well, I think, yes, like you said, having to come back and figure out how we're going to come back, there was some adjusting, like, how are we going to do it? How are we going to make sure that we sound good? How are we going to still record our shows so that we can upload them on Apple and Spotify and be able to do that? So we did have to figure that out. And I think that took some time finding out what worked. So we did, I think we all missed talking and everything. So we did try to come up with some new ideas on, like, okay, what do we want to talk about? And we came up, that's what we first started doing. We came up with, like, okay, what are some topics that we can talk about? What are some new things that we're going to start to bring in the conversation? But that was the only thing. Other than that, it was great to get back and start doing it. It was just that figuring out, like, how are we going to be able to do this and make sure we sound good and we're able to record. But we figured it out. So
absolutely. And one thing for viewers who may never listen to OEL, the show hits hard. All right, it gets right to the heart of things with no filter. I like to call it, the straight no chaser. You know what I mean? That's the way it's supposed to be. But in a time like this, that's what we needed. And so, okay, I gotta ask this. All right, and anyone can ask this. Talk about the cover where you ladies are sitting there, you got the Cubans, the whatever. Okay, talk to me. Who cared what the concept for the cover?
Who came up with that? Was that you, Charles, that came up with the cigars?
I actually think that was Mo. I think that was
the cigars.
Mo's idea, and then our photographer kind of helped bring our idea to life. So
exactly.
I think it was a combination between our manager and Mo and our photographer.
Yes. And a little bit behind the concept with the cigars is because, we're 3 women. It's on everyone's lips. But, we want a male presence as well. We want males to feel included. We want a little sex appeal, males see, oh, cigar. Okay. I might tune into them. So it's a little bit of both, but just to kind of bridge
exactly
bridge the male and female gap to hopefully bring some males in and want to listen to us as well.
You just hit on a point I want to just, I want to piggyback off that because, like you said, when you watch the cover, the first thing may come to mind, especially I'm going to speak from the black male perspective. It may be, oh, it's just a female driven show, so it's going to be one of them, male type of or anti-male kind of shows. And and I'll listen to people, I try to listen to as many different podcasts as possible, but to get different points of view. But as you say, you're very inclusive about what you do, and so just take for instance, there was like I said, your shows hit on a lot of topics. It hits on a lot of issues that people really need to listen to. Like for instance, talk about race, talk about relationships. There was one of my favorite episodes was the one where you talked about someone, their cousin with disabilities. What do people with disabilities, what people need to know about that? And so so anyone can answer this. What is the determining factor and how do you determine what to talk about for that week?
Well, I think our goal is to always try and provide thought-provoking conversations and topics. So I believe it's important for us to shed light on topics such as race and relationships and disabilities. We even had a show on autism.
That's right, absolutely.
Conversations in our the Black and brown community that we don't really talk about it. Sometimes the conversations, the topics are very uncomfortable. So I think we want to have conversation starters within our community, and I think we bring the opportunity for us to do that.
Absolutely. I think that's what the show does. It educates as well and enlightens, but also it empowers as well. Lindsey, let me ask you this. So what's kind of been some of the feedback you all have gotten since you started this show?
Oh, it's been great. I think a lot of people, at first sometimes, it's crazy because I don't think, like the last show we did self-reflection and we posted about it. We were asking people questions like, are you someone that's dateable? So I think sometimes our topics may be a little like, oh man, that's too deep. I don't know if I'm ready to have that conversation. But for the most part, I think people really love it. I think that, like you said, I think they learn from the conversation and it opens it up because we're in such a digital world where everybody's looking on their phone. They talk through social media. They don't really have in-person conversations. So when you get that chance to be on the phone or have a chance to say like, oh, okay, I'm opening up to talk about a topic, that may not be ordinary, then it starts to get people thinking like, oh, wow, like this is making me think. So I think the feedback has been amazing. I think people realize like, man, like that's something good. I never thought about that before,
Yeah, when we don't have shows, we definitely have people asking, okay, well, where y'all at? When do y'all come in? Like, what are y'all waiting on? What's the hold up?
Absolutely. And so let me ask you this, because I think I said one of the shows you talk about art, would you date yourself pretty much, and and kind of the opening conversations, and just ask, we have 3 Black women here, and I'd like to hear from each and every one of you. What is dating like in this era, and what's it like for the single successful Black woman?
Wow, that's a great question, John. I think it's complicated, of course, but at the same time, it's not as hard as some people may think it is. You really have to just put yourself out there. There's a whole lot of avenues, online dating and everything like that, and then of course you bring in the pandemic, that adds a whole nother level. But if you are wanting someone and you want to have a partner, then you have to put in the time and effort, just like anything else. That's what I feel like when it comes to dating. If you want to, find someone, and if you're willing to do that, I think you can do it. And with Zoom calls, with all this virtual stuff that we have, you can connect with somebody. I don't think it's hard to connect with somebody with all these different avenues we have now. So that's my feeling on it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think it's important for people to understand, that we do live in a different era in a virtual environment, but the connectivity options are always out there. So for people to talk about. And Chelsea, I'm going to ask you for this next question. And so we talk about some of the very, going from a lighthearted topic to a more serious topic. And we were talking about the state of where we live, especially, like I said, your show reaches out predominantly to the Black and brown communities. And we've just got through finishing, for the most part, one of the most divisive general elections that we've ever faced in this country. And so just on behalf of people speaking for OEL, what is your take? And ladies, I'd like to talk to each and every one of you about this, on the way things are going in this country, especially for the Black and brown communities.
Oh, Mo, you want to take on that?
Oh, okay, yeah, I could give my opinion on that. So my opinion with what you said, John, I mean, I'm just amazed that, the election, and that now we have a woman of color who's the first vice president ever, and first woman of color, and that's amazing. And just I was just amazed at how America, we spoke. Like, we went in there, we said we wanted change, and we did it. And that's what I felt. I felt like, wow, we did it. And then in our community, we did it, because they said this is the most voters has ever came out. And so we really said, okay, we need change. And we went out and we did that. And I feel like I feel hopeful, and I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen in these coming months, and how the transition of power is going to go, and how this new regime is going to come in, and how they're really going to help us. That's what I want to see now. I want to see, what is this change really going to look like. So I'm looking forward to that. But I have to say that I have hope, where before I think I had less hope, but I have hope. I have hope that we're going in the right direction.
Yeah. And I think it's the same thing that Mo said. I think it gives us hope because we started off such a bad start. We've been hearing so many things about the deaths of so many Black and brown people. And so it was disheartening. But to see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and now we came together and we have a woman of color, like Mo said, coming into the office. So we all are hopeful that there's going to be change. We got a lot of work to do, but I believe that, we can get the work done, and it's something is going to happen and something is going to change. And I think this election also made me think about how important it is to not only vote for presidential, but also for governor, for senator, or, all of those elections that we don't necessarily pay attention to. And so that it's definitely made me think like, hey, we got to get, your House representative. All of those people are important to put into place so that we can get the changes that we want. Because the president can't pass anything without it going through those specific individuals. They have to approve for those things to happen. So, yeah, it just makes you think about that and say, like, you know what, we definitely got to start paying attention more to that.
Absolutely. That's a great point. That's one of the things, just I think, just on a local level, what we're able to do is be able to provide that platform to talk about issues on the local end, because that's where really the change happens. Mm-hmm. And so it's important to be a representation of that voice. And so, Chelsea, I'll go back to you and talk about what does it mean, that representation, to be a voice in the Black and brown communities, and what you all do with OEL.
I think I think, we allow that space and, the opportunity to hear everyone's perspectives. We allow the opportunity to, it's no judgment zone. You can have different, you can have a different thought process than we do. You can have a different opinion on we do. And as long as, I think you learn a lot just in general conversation. So I think just allowing that opportunity to have callers come in and join us in our conversation. And I think it's dope. Absolutely. To hear different perspectives within our community.
And so what's it like have you ever had opportunity to talk with someone this, to Monique and the others? And so what is it like when you have people who may not necessarily agree with something, a take you may have on this show, and how do you address that?
I know sometimes, like if when we first started out, we had a lot of callers that will call in, and they have it's an awkward silence at first. When it's like a response that catches, that catches us off guard. But for the most part, we're pretty welcoming. We don't we listen for the most part. We don't cut anyone off, and we let them voice their opinion, and with understanding that we all have different opinions. So.
Absolutely. And so what's that like? I mean, it's from season 1 to season 2, being able to find your quote unquote podcast voice, because I know for people who get into this, and as someone who's done podcasts for over 15 years, it sometimes getting started can be a challenge. Can you all say that you've found your voice and what works with the show?
We've definitely come a very long way.
Yes.
When we first started, we were so nervous for every show. We were so jittery. We were wondering how we sound. And then we understood that, nothing is perfect.
Mhm.
Sometimes there's technical difficulties when you're dealing with technology. Things happen. So we've definitely branched out to other platforms, which allowed us to have better quality when, speaking, and we know what to write down or what to look at, what what
Mhm.
to say, the flow of the show, how to, how to do the show. We've learned a lot. We've come a very long way.
And I think you still pick it up as you go. I mean, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say I have found my voice completely. I think I'm learning as we go, because like Charles said, we've had technical difficulties, and then we've had to be like, oh man, we gotta pick it up. Whatever, somebody fell off or somebody got disconnected, so let's try to improvise and do something. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep going. So you learn those things as you go, and you're gonna make mistakes. You may say something that you don't. Nobody's, like Charles said, nobody's perfect. You're gonna say something that may not agree with everybody, but somebody's gonna agree with it. Like, believe it or not, somebody's gonna
Yeah.
agree with what you said, or they may think what you thought. And you may have a lot of people that don't, but somebody's gonna agree with it, whether you think it or not.
And I just wanted to add, I have to say, it's an adrenaline rush to be in the moment, to be live, that spontaneity. And even like when you have technical difficulties, people, somebody, one of us picking it up, keeping it going. It's
We
such
laugh
an
it
adrenaline
off.
rush. Yeah.
It's very out there. If you're listening to some of our shows, sometimes like our last show, Mo,
Mhm.
I think, disappeared, and I was like,
Yep.
Mo, are you there? And Mo wasn't. She really wasn't there. So me and Lindsay was carrying on until Mo came back in, but it just was authentic, and
Yes.
because we, it just allowed us the space to just be us and just have real conversation.
Right.
Yes.
But it also goes back, like I said earlier, we talked about the unity, the camaraderie, where if somebody
Yeah.
isn't there connecting, then on the line, then the other person can just jump right in and say, hey, all right, I
Yeah.
got you covered. And it doesn't skip a beat. And that's the mark of a
Nope.
great show. It really puts it out there. And so let's talk get a little light, for our readers. For each of you, Chelsea, Monique, and Lindsay, what's life like beyond the microphone?
Well, I'm a new mom.
Oh,
I
congratulations.
am almost 9 months in the game. So outside of, taping our shows and doing meetings and stuff, I'm either spending time with my son or trying to balance my personal life with my friendships and just finding that balance, that time for me, family and friends.
Awesome.
Yes.
And
Uh,
Monique?
for me, beyond the mic, I, like you said, I work from home, so working full time. I'm very outgoing. So, I love to get out and do whatever. So even with this whole pandemic, still being able to, find ways to be safe about it, but still get out in the city, maybe a rooftop, maybe,
Mhm.
a lot of outdoor activities. I do have a significant other that I spend time with, and we've just been having a good time, just getting out, seeing new things, doing a lot of outdoor stuff. I've been doing a lot of walking and things like that, and then also like Old Town Alexandria has been amazing during this time because they had the restaurants opened up, and like you could walk up and you could get maybe like a little wine, and you could walk around with it. I was like, I've never seen that in this area. And so they kind of, did that doing as the phase 2 or 3 started opening back up, they had that. So just really, finding ways to satisfy myself socially because I'm a social person, and then also professionally, and working on my craft, my passion. Really been working on that, trying to get into this field. I'm working with mentors, I'm going to school, so I'm really building myself up to really in 5 years to say, okay, this is what I do now, this is my career. So I'm working towards that.
Awesome. And I can just say, before going to Lindsay, I can just say, as long as I've known Monique, she's like a human LinkedIn, as you know, this person to this person to that person.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
she does. She
yes.
feels like that.
So chances are you name drop somebody, chances are they'll name drop her, and they've met her at some party or some gathering, some business,
It's true.
whatever. Her. It's like, oh, you know her? Oh, okay. Oh, I know her too. So, and then from experience, Lindsay, what about you?
I would say the same. Just getting I've been working from home, so that, and then I've been trying to get out more. I haven't always. I'm an old mom. Chelsea says she a new mom. I'm an old mom because my daughter's 12. So I'm an old mom. So yeah, just been spending more time with family, and I've been trying to get out more. That's my new. I would say that's my new goal now, is to like try to get out more, even though we have, a lot of things going on. Of course, I'm safe. I try to wear my mask and everything, but I think I'm like, yeah, I want to get out and travel more and stuff. So that's my goal, to try to do different things. Been going to wineries and stuff.
Oh, any recommendations for the reading audience?
No, I'm still too new. I don't have. I'm still too new. I'm still learning. Still getting my feet wet.
I understand that. There's some we go to, definitely some to avoid. So that being said, let's go back and just talk about OEL and just where you all want to see it grow, and some areas, maybe some things that you're looking to expand in season 2 and for future seasons. So Chelsea, I'll start with you. Where is your own individual vision for OEL and for yourself going forward?
I would like to see OEL on tour, doing live shows in a city near you.
All right now.
I want to expand, our brand and our following, and expand our listeners and get more callers and people to join in into our conversations. And I think we need to strengthen our social media marketing area. And I think once we get a hold of that and, figure that out, then we could definitely see an increase.
Absolutely. Monique.
Yes, I agree with Chelsea. OEL on tour sounds good to me, and I feel like the sky's the limit for this with us, and I would love to see us expand to live shows, more video like YouTube, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, things like that. Just more conversation, just getting people, in conversation. I love the interview aspect, and I enjoy spotlighting people who are, walking in their passion, something that they are passionate about, and they, are pursuing it. And I feel like it's never too late. I feel like it's never too late to pursue something you want to pursue, whatever it is. And I feel like our platform is a platform where, we could spotlight someone if they have something coming on, going on. And so more of that, of course, and just building our brand and building our social media presence. So that's where I would like to see us.
Awesome. Finally, Lindsey, where your vision for OEL and for yourself going forward?
Well, yeah, just to echo what they said, yeah, building our brand. I want to see OEL on some coffee mugs. I want to see us have some shirts, So that would be my idea. Definitely going on tour, doing live shows, YouTube, eventually doing video and audio, simultaneously doing those and uploading it on YouTube and building our YouTube channel. Yeah, and I think I just want to have deeper conversations and everything, come up with more conversations that we can have that's thought-provoking, that'll get people talking, even maybe some risque conversations, just everything.
You know what you got already? Oh, all right now. You're gonna do, so in other words, if I'm hearing you right, Lindsey, you're talking about OEL after dark. Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, yes, he called it. I always call it that. OEL after dark. I always call it that.
That's what we call it.
Oh, yeah, she does. Mo calls it OEL after
dark.
I
do.
OEL. That put the
kids. It won't get too much. It will still be classy. It will still be classy. But just touching into topics that I think that can have versatility, just having, all topics under the sun. So yeah, I would definitely say those are my goals.
Oh, wonderful. Wow, this has been incredible. Just real quick for we to take it home, someone just give a little plug for the show and where they can find it.
You can find us on Facebook on Everyone's Lips. That's with an apostrophe S. You can also find us on IG at OEL Show. And we are on IG, Facebook, what else? And our website, oelshow.com.
Yes.
And if
iTunes and Spotify, our shows.
iTunes and Spotify. But when you search for us, you have to make sure you include the apostrophe S on Everyone's Lips.
All right.
And just to add in, if you do want to send like a listener, if you want us to read your questions on, you will remain anonymous. So if you guys want to send any questions or any problems that you're having an issue with, they can always send us an email at contactoelpodcast@gmail.com.
All right. Woo, sounds like everybody's got things on point. This is awesome. So definitely looking forward to seeing what y'all are going to do more. And Chelsea, Monique, and Lindsey, thank you all very much for taking time out of your busy schedules. We're looking forward to the success on everyone's lips. We're now, you know where everyone's to find it now. And just so thankful that you all took time to talk about us this evening and let listeners know, the voices behind the microphone.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Really
a pleasure. It's any time to be of service. And so for everyone, this is John Reed, Editor-in-Chief of the PW Perspective. Once again, reminding you, we'll be seeing this on tomorrow's edition of Artist of the Week, and look forward to that and many other stories in the PW Perspective. Until then, we look forward to talking with you all soon. Have a wonderful evening.
See you.